What's going on? Back flipping again. What you pour the profit? So today, man, we got a Genshin Impact tier list for you guys. We're going to be getting right into it. And we're also going to be including all known characters that we have information about at this point. So make sure you guys stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys who maybe you should be summoning for, why. But yeah, man, we're about to get it popping. Hope you guys do the content. Let's get it lit. Drop my shit.
What would you do when it come up? I spent a lot of shit when it come up. They lift it down bad, I had to come up. And hustle from the back down into the sun up. I had to switch up. No, I ain't mad at you. I just had to come up and look at just what that bag could do. I charged into the game cause I said I won't complain. Ain't been no sunny days, I had to get it out the rain. Look.
Back plugged in again. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. And we're going to, of course, be starting with D tier with, you know, your favorite trolley girl, Amber. So let's just go ahead and get into the goods real quick, the pros about her. She is really good for exploration with her gliding boost consumption and with all of the puzzles where you have to light fire torches and stuff like that. And just getting chests around the world. She's pretty good at that. But aside from actually using her, she's a bow user, so she can be set up to spec for her charge shot. That's probably the best Amber build is, you know, specking for her charge shot, you know, because it does do pyro damage. So, but yeah, aside from that, her E skill or her elemental skill is just really underwhelming, does very bad damage. It's just underwhelming damage. The playstyle is not very fun, and then her elemental burst ability doesn't have very good range at all and doesn't have good damage either. So very underwhelming character as far as damage goes. Then we'll go ahead and move on to Kaeya in C tier. I do believe that Kaeya can be made to be okay just because cryo is one of the strongest elements in the game for causing reactions, especially because it has superconduct, which lowers your physical defense by 40%. That is incredible. So he does have very, very low cooldowns, and then his elemental burst, you know, it's a sustained orbital cryo, you know, it does very little damage, but if you want to pop his elemental burst, switch out to your main DPS, especially if you have somebody like a Keqing or Razor, oh my god, you can see some really, really crazy numbers. But yeah, that's just him as assisting, just using him manually, nothing really too fancy. The best thing you can do is build him for recharge so he can be a solid support. If you have to use him for main DPS, you're probably very early in the game, so you probably wouldn't be worrying about it. But yeah, you're going to want to replace him as soon as you get a better cryo user. Lisa, I like her personality, okay? I like her design, you know? I like that man-eater type of personality, you dig me? But oh god, her playstyle is just, it's very slow, very clunky. You know, she is a pure electro user, so she cannot do any sort of physical damage, which can be good for like some electro solving puzzles, but you know, it can be bad because there's some slimes and some enemies she just literally cannot attack. Like I said, overall, very slow playstyle. You don't want to use her as support because you got to charge to really make use of her elemental skills. So, yeah, very slow playstyle and, yeah, not very good character overall. Just so you guys know, every character in this game can be useful just because elements, you know, if you have a really good cryo and you just need some electro to make superconduct, then bam, you know, you throw in Lisa if that's all you have, you know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. The homie Bennett, you know what I'm saying, baby Diluc, you know what I'm saying, Diluc's wannabe, you know, the Robin, you know what I'm saying, if you will. But that's all good. Bennett suffers from not having a true role. You can build him with some pyro damage builds. You know, his E skill is okay. Passion overload will hurt him after a certain point unless you have constellations. So you have to be very precise about how long you charge it. His elemental burst can heal or buff, so he can be really, really essential in, you know, Diluc or Klee teams where you need that pyro elemental resonance to get you that extra damage. So, you know, and of course, if you're over 70%, you're gonna buff, and if you're below 70%, you're gonna take a heal. So, and also his heal scales on his HP, which means if you want to build him for healing, you're not going to do any damage. So really suffers from identity crisis. One-handed sword user. There are some really good weapons for one-handed swords for sure, but like I said, he doesn't have a true definitive playstyle, and if you spec him for one, you lose out on the other. So yeah. Noelle, Geo Elemental Resonance is, you have 2 Geo characters, you get more damage, so that's going to be good. And all of her abilities pretty much scale based on her defense. So if you really want to get her up there, she's going to be tanky. She does put shields out, which shields are good. Shields are going to be really good in the later parts of the game. And yeah, with Zhongli coming, I don't know. Maybe you want to build Noelle and Zhongli. You know, I don't know. But Noelle can function as a healer. She has the Excalibur, and that should be looking cool. But she has really long cooldown times, so it's just kind of weird specking her out. I've seen people do some crazy numbers with her though, but I don't think that would be truly a very good ideal playstyle. But, you know, play the game how you want. If you want to spec for Noelle because you like her design, you know, if you like Jean-Pierre and Saber combination, and, you know what I'm saying, maybe this is what you want to do, you know what I mean? And you do have a chance to get her, you know, high consolation because she's a feature 4-star. Now, I'm going to be ranking him as a Geo Traveler. I hate you. Oh, my God. Like, so clunky. Don't get me wrong. The Geo Traveler can do a lot of damage, but the play style is very clunky, and man, the Geo constructs, I wish you could break them down. Like if you could bring them in and drop them down and then like do some Geo damage on the explosion, that would be amazing. But then when you do his elemental burst, it's bugged, right? And you got him, and you got to jump around and attack once or twice and jump around, and like maybe you get shielded okay, but then maybe you elevate the mob and he's a higher plane and now you can't attack him. So just really clunky. I don't like it. I mean, I could legit put him down meow, like, you know what I'm saying, meow, or like meow, you know what I'm saying? Just, I don't like it. I don't like it, but I'm not going to cap on him. You know, you do get free constellations, and he can do high damage, and his cooldowns are not that bad. Moving on to A tier, I'm going to be starting off talking about Barbara. You know, some people, I'm not going to call it that the whole time, okay? I'm just saying. You know, she is a straight healer, right? Her heal specs off her HP, which means she's going to be super tanky if you actually build her. The tricky thing is that she gives you wet status. So getting froze on this game is so annoying, especially, you know, Spiral Abyss stages or floors where there's just ice crystals spamming you, and if you're wet, you're gonna be frozen, bro. Like, oh my God. So yeah, she is a pure healer. Oh, and if you get her Constellation 6, she can revive, and that is crazy. If you have her Constellation 6, you understand why she's actually could be SS tier. But you know, we're not going to really spec out for constellation. We might mention it here or there in some cases. But, yeah. Beidou! Beidou, I don't even have her. Like, I want her so bad. She can be a great character. She's the only character right now in the game that has a parry or a block mechanic. And she is an Electro. So, you know, Superconduct. And if you have her as your main DPS, if you like Superconduct and then you know, spec out a few other things and then you get a perfect counter, she can hit for like 150k. Like, you can build Beidou to do some crazy stuff. She's a Claymore user, so she's gonna have really good damage. The only thing is her cooldowns are not the best, right? Like, that's the main thing about her. You generally do want to build her for physical damage. Some people build her for electro damage, but I think physical damage is probably the best way to go with her. She does have the ability to give you electro damage on her normal attack. Xingqiu, he's a very fun playstyle. You know what I'm saying? He has the Gates of Babylon, the Aqua Gates of Babylon going on. He just summoning, you know what I'm saying, the water noble phantasms. You know what I mean? So Pretty cool character. He can be very good as far as support. If you combine him with another Aqua user, he can really be, you know, he can really help the team do some really crazy stuff as far as the elemental resonance and just burst damage. You know, his swords are going to give you damage reduction, and that's pretty much it. I mean, solid character. And like I said, you know, he's a 4-star and he's currently being rated up. So keep that in mind. You might have a higher chance of getting him some dupes in him maxively for sure. Ningguang or Ningguang. Very high single target burst damage character. Very under the radar in terms of that. You know, she really can do a lot of damage, especially single target. Her jade screens are really good. They cause damage when it comes out, and if you pop her elemental burst with the jade screen out, you get more damage. She's going to crit really hard if you spec her for her that. So you know, they're just, and geo elemental resonance is just straight damage, so she can hit for some crazy numbers. The worst thing I would say about her is she's very stingy. So if you're constantly building up those gems when she's out there, and if you swap out, you lose your accumulated damage. You got to build it back up. That's the main thing I'll say I don't truly care for about Ningguang. Alright, and I'm going to rank this right here as the Anemo Traveler. Very good cooldowns, and the elemental burst is okay. I think it's, I don't know, man, like the hit detection is kind of weird, but you know, the fact that you can mix it, and of course you get swirl. Swirl is pretty much good with everything, literally. Anemo is one of the best elements for just causing straight reactions. It can react with anything, giving you additional damage. So, and most Anemo characters are built to give you extra swirl, extra Anemo, and whatever you swirl damage with. So that's going to really get you crazy damage numbers. Better cooldown than Sucrose. That's actually Sucrose's main hindrance, is her cooldowns. You know, she is very good for floors of Spiral Abyss, for grouping enemies. You know, she has 2 charges of her elemental skill, and you know, her elemental burst is pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, baby Venti not as good, but like I said, her cooldowns aren't going to be the best. So if you spec her for cooldown, I'll say you're going to get the most out of her just by grouping abilities, just by grouping enemies and mobs together, causing those swirls, and multiplying your damage depending on how you build her. All right, now guys, this is where we're getting, I mean, literally up there, okay? Actually, let me know how you feel about the ratings. I know you guys will, but I feel like Razor, right, is going to be the best in S tier, okay? Now, we all know Razor can hit for some extraordinary numbers. His whole entire kit is built to just cycle his ult. You know, he gets that increased normal attack speed and damage when he gets that ult, and he gets that elemental, you know, that electro damage. Like I said, combining electro and superconduct with your main DPS can be absolutely magnificent. He is a stingy player though. You know, he's a stingy main DPS, and sometimes that's okay for your main DPS, you know, to be stingy like that, because you want them out there most, right? That means if you build for your Razor, you don't have to really build your other characters as much, because you're going to be keeping him out all the time pretty much. It also needs to be said that, you know, in some swirl situations, Razor's normal attack is really good for hitting enemies inside those vortexes, because it's like a high angle above. You know, like I said, very good, very, I think he's one of the best 4-star characters in the game. We'll talk about a couple more in a second. All right, Jean. Guys, like, I love Jean, okay? Jean was my first 5-star. She came home to me, okay? I didn't realize how great she was. I knew she was, but I just didn't really know. I didn't realize she has crazy magnifications on her normal attack, and her heal specs off of her attack, which is absolutely magnificent. You can just straight up build her for physical damage. She's your paladin. She's going to heal you, the burstiest heal in the entire game. Very great overall. You know, like I said, a lot of builds. I wouldn't really spec for building her for Anemo damage or Anemo percentage, just because you really want her to have that physical damage boost. if you're going to be using her for support, I can see it, right? Because you know, you can build her, you know, she heals with her normal attack, and then her heal is very bursty. So in that case, if you want to use her for full recharge to get that burst ability back, I can see you doing that as well. I would also say if you get a few constellations in her, which I know she's a 5-star, I'm just saying, she can be really insane. Boosting your movement speed and your attack speed by 15% is absolutely nuts. But I'm basically ranking every character on this list at pretty much 0 or maybe 1 constellation. Some characters, their first constellation truly makes them so insane, so insane, so insane. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and get into Mona. I'm a little conflicted with Mona. I kind of want to put her higher, but I don't really believe in her elemental skill. It's similar to Amber's, right? Where she pretty much makes like a water phantasm that comes out and it pulls aggro. It's going to explode, causing aqua damage. That's going to allow you to set up very many things, right? As well as her elemental burst is going to... It's going to do a lot of damage since they fixed the multiplications of the amplifying ability, cause those water elemental reactions. So I'll say Mona's really good. Her exploration is absolutely magnificent. Traversing with her is so intrinsically good. You can run on water, and if I didn't know, if I never saw Ayaka, I would just be head over heels for Mona. But I do want to get her though. Xiangling, I kind of feel like you could really... I like versatility. In this game, versatility is very big. So in some aspects, you could say Xiangling can be like right here. Just because you can build her as main DPS, and she can very, very suffice it. There's a very, very OP craftable weapon, the Crescent Pike, that's going to spike up her damage output. And the Crescent Pike alone is craftable, refinable. It's very good. It's going to really, really help her gameplay as a main DPS because it multiplies your damage by 20%. And it can also give you an additional crit multiplier. So it's really crazy. So you can crit on top of the 20%, and then that 20% can crit. So anybody that's a polearm user can really see some really great results. However, I'm going to put her right here just because I think Razor is way better as a main DPS, but she's better as a support. And if, you know, rank her as a support, her Pyro Nado, especially if you get some dupes in her, lasts crazy, crazy, crazy long. Polearm users are pretty kind of under the radar right now compared to, like, you know, Claymore users and stuff like that in terms of weapons overall. But the Crescent Pike is really great if you know how to use it. All right, Chongyun. Chongyun could really see himself very close to Razor, but let's just cut it. Like, Chongyun is not better than Razor. Now, I will say that Cryo is one of the best things to combine with Razor. It's just that Chongyun is best as a main DPS. He does have pretty nice and friendly cooldown times, and he can boost any sword or polearm users. That includes claymores or one-handed swords. So keep that in mind. He does have that, you know, with him running as a support kind of role. He's pretty much a jack of all trades, but some characters are massively going to out DPS him. But for a character being a 4-star, he's very solid, and he can function as a main DPS. He can carry you well onto the end of the game. All right, now we're to our very fun tier. I think I'll keep it as S+ to be determined because, guys, I cannot just put Chongyun over Diluc. But damn, like, if you know what this man can do, oh my God. Being able to petrify enemies, and he's doing a geoplanetary devastation. Like, oh my God. Petrification for at least 5 seconds is incredible. Oh my God. Like, and like I said, polearm users are stupid insane, especially, like I said, when you combine it with something like the Crescent Pike, which is a free-to-play weapon. And this is a very free-to-play friendly tier list, guys. So these characters are going to be coming out very soon. Zhongli could be coming out in version 1.1, which is going to drop in like a day and a half. So keep that in mind. And yeah, like I said, petrification is really good. Geo Resonance is going to get him additional damage. That's going to really, really amplify his output. He's super saucy, sexy, drippy, and man, yeah, without a doubt, one of the best characters. Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, he's gonna be one of the better characters in the game and right in the highest tier. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about Xiao. Guys, this dude is nuts. Like, this dude is nuts. Like, if you get one constellation, he gets an extra charge to his regular elemental skill. And that allows him to just jump, bounce, jump, bounce, jump, bounce. And he's just ripping it up. It's a 10-second cooldown. And you can get, standardly, let's just say, you know, no constellations. He's going to get 2 charges. But 2 charges is going to be really, really good with him. He's a polearm user as well. So, oh my god, like he's just going to be very fun to play. He is a main DPS unit. His elemental burst allows him to take the form of a demon, and that gives him crazy damage. It does actually hurt him. It takes his HP the more he's in that stage, but he can get up to 25% damage multiplier. And yeah, he's very good. He's a main DPS, you know, one of those kind of greedy people, but it's good to have a support or a healer with him, because after you burst that damage, you can just heal up, get him cool, and then rotate out. We don't know exactly when he's coming. He's supposed to be rumored to be after the Klee banner, but we don't know if Zhongli is coming, or yeah, we don't know exactly who's coming next. So I'm not going to speculate too much on that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on to Ayaka. Ayaka is a cryo one-handed sword user. Gameplay of her is above. And yeah, so very good. She is essentially like Mona, where she can surf underwater or underground. She's going to ride on top of water, and then when she releases it, she pops up, converting her attack percent into cryo damage, and sprouts like a patch of ice on water. So you can effectively surf. So the exploration with this character is going to be phenomenal. We don't know exactly when she's coming out. She's rumored to be coming out when one of the regions drop. We don't know what region is exactly coming next, but so I just wanted to include her because we do have gameplay. I know there's a few other characters that we have gameplay of that have not, you know, been out, but I need to see full skills in the layout of everything and gameplay as well. All right, now we're to our final tier, and yeah, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Let's just count it off, man. Let's just sound off. Diluc, of course, is pretty much one of the gods of this game. All right, everybody knows Diluc. Everybody wants Diluc. Pyro, he's a claymore user. The things that make him so good are that he has 3 charges of his elemental skill, so you can mix his normal attacks with his elemental skill up to 3 times, magnifying your damage per second. On top of that, his elemental burst is absolutely insane, can hit for crazy numbers. It's going to hit enemies multiple times. It can combine with swirl effects, so if you use his elemental burst, it'll sit inside of a Venti alt or a Sucrose alt from what I've seen, making him incredible. I would say one of the highest damage per second characters in the game, at Constellation 0. You know, not specking for multiple constellations. I would say at Con 1, he should be the best DPS in the game. Keqing got, like, since she's gotten her buff, I mean, she was always very good, but since she's gotten buffed, I would say she's going to be the second best DPS character. The thing that her and Diluc do that makes them so good is after they pop their ult, their normal attacks are coded in their element. So Pyro and Electro. So after they pop the ult, you know, she's going to be able to just do elemental reaction, elemental reaction, elemental reaction. Same with Diluc. That's what bumps his DPS up so high. And yeah, her lightning stiletto allows her to teleport, be it midair, over water, you know, on the however you want to do it. You can throw it up and teleport to it. You're going to swipe. You can then, you know, do a plunge attack to magnify her damage depending on the boss and depending on how you play her. Her play style is so unique. It's so intrinsic. I absolutely love it. One of the most fun characters to use, even though I haven't used her. I want you so bad. Come to me, Keqing. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to Venti. I would say Venti is one of the, probably the best support in the game. Guys, like, A lot of people have Fischl kind of like right after Venti. I don't know if that's maybe because they're older tier lists, but I'm sorry. I feel like I'm selling out, putting Fischl over Klee. Like, let me tell you, okay? But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Venti. You know, his exploration is so amazing, so amazing. You know, he's gonna help you cheese a lot of areas, he's gonna help you cheese a lot of those Geoculus and Amoculus. And yeah, his elemental skill is just gonna drop out a burst of Anemo. If you charge it, it's going to magnify the damage about 33% in most cases, up until you get to higher, you know, skill ranks. It gets to like 40% plus magnification. But yeah, very insane. And of course, his elemental burst is one of the best in the game. Cause a continuous vortex, allowing swirl to just permeate and just group up enemies in spiral abyss, bosses, wherever you want to use it, however you want to use it. Venti is one of the best supports, and he can function as a main DPS depending on how you use him and depending on your team composition. All right, now we're going to officially talk about Fischl. I would say one of the best 4-star in the game, right? Because to me, all the other 4 stars are S tier or below. Fischl can function as main DPS, or she can function as one of the best supports in the game. Oz pretty much carries. You know, once you get that skill level up, he's going to be doing very high numbers of damage. He ticks pretty much every second. He stays on the field for essentially 10 seconds, but if you cycle her off, you can get him out there for 20 seconds. So it's very, very amazing. You can use her main DPS or support. Electro being one of the best status is one of the best elements in the game. And yeah, man, there's a lot to say about her. Bow user, so there's a lot of good bows that give you recharge, or they give you different options of how you can build her. Guys, Klee should really be up here. Can we stop capping? Can we stop capping? Can we stop capping? I have Klee back here because I don't want to be biased and I want to be sensitive to everyone. I understand that Klee needs a little bit more finagling and she needs some work. You know what I mean? You know, you have to know how to use her. You know, min-maxing with characters can drastically uptick your DPS. Her Jumpty Dumpty is very good. You do have to know how to use it. You know, you do have to mind your distance. The one thing that you have to watch with Klee is your stamina consumption, just because if you're constantly spamming her charge attack, you're not going to have stamina. So you got to jump. You got to jump out the way. You know what I'm saying? So just if you learn how to use Klee, I promise you, she can out DPS Diluc. But Diluc's playstyle is so smooth. I think he's way easier to play with. So yeah, but Klee has changed my account. I'm able to beat stuff I would never been able to beat before with just smashing the button with Jean and just swapping out with elemental reactions. But yeah, man, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to Qiqi. Qiqi is basically the best healer in the game, just because when you combine her and her element, which is cryo, and how her elemental burst works, you're gonna be, you know, using that wispy swirl around you. Once she pops her elemental burst, every enemy that's tagged, once they're damaged, you're going to heal yourself. So like, she is just very, very crazy. She really helps keep the team alive and helps your team's DPS overall. But yeah, man, that has been the Genshin Impact tier list. I really do hope you guys enjoyed. And make sure you guys subscribe if you enjoy the Genshin Impact content. I cover Genshin Impact in every single way. I live stream, and I'm doing everything pretty much the free-to-play way, okay? So if you guys are tired of seeing whale content, if you really want to see content that's going to be about how you should play the game, make sure you subscribe. And I do have a Genshin Impact giveaway going on for $50. It's going to be ending in about 20 days. If you want to enter, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Until next time, Prophet Nation, I do love y'all. I'm out.
All them people done got it.